Hey guys, welcome to the Blue Collar Business Podcast, where we discuss the realest, rawest, most relevant stories and strategies behind building every corner of a blue collar business. I'm your host, Sy Kirby, and I want to help you. What it took me, trial and error, and a whole lot of money to learn. The information that no one in this industry is willing to share. Whether you're under that shade tree or have your hard hat on, let's expand your toolbox. Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Blue Collar Business Podcast. I am sitting in this wonderful studio in the solo pod today with a remote podcast happening. Podcastvideos.com, man, they are always upgrading their equipment. I've been here about a year, as you guys know, sitting on, let us know how this new camera is in the solo pod room. I was just talking to our guest about it, and man, the clarity. Always improving systems and how they're treating our guests. And I'm really proud to be a part of Podcast Video's team here. Today, guys, you're joining for another episode of Blue Collar Talk, and you can find it all at bluecollarbusinesspodcast.com. You can watch for free on the website, and you can listen for free on the website. You do not have to have any type of subscription platform, but if you do, make sure and give us a following and a good rating on the podcast you do listen to, and then check out for more. Furthermore, guys, today I'm really excited to be joined by a gentleman that has and shares the same passion I do about the things I'm currently going through in my business and working towards. And it's a different structure that some of you I know for a fact have never heard of it. Some of you think of it as a pipe dream. Some of you think it's fairy tale land. But this gentleman I am bringing to you guys today to hear the success, some of the failures to get where he's at. And he 100% has already spoken a little bit with me, and it is pure experience coming out of his mouth. So everybody welcome up Mr. Michael Fortinberry, co-founder and president of Protiv. Thank you so much for joining me today, sir.
Ty, super excited to be here, my friend. We're going to talk about some fun stuff.
For sure. A little bit of backstory on Mr. Michael here. Number one, again, thank you for your service, sir. Military veteran with the U.S. Army, partner and SVP at Perennial Construction Solutions. That is still an active company today. You've held executive roles in tech, real estate, and construction, from startups to 500 firms. And then, of course, today, founded in 2021, your company, and what you're going to be talking to us about today, and the generalizations of where blue-collar companies fail within their pay structure, and how passionate you are about fixing those compensation systems in our industries, because we need you, frankly. You know what I mean?
Well, brother, I appreciate the introduction. It's so interesting because we serve and deal with a lot of contractors across different trades. And so I've gotten to know folks from everything from heavy civil, kind of space where you operate in, to mom and pop landscaping companies, to big commercial electricians, roofing companies and concrete guys. We got a company that we're working with that this guy's got like 100 scuba divers that clean weeds off the bottom of lakes in the summer in the Midwest. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing, but that's apparently a job. And I'd call he's like a underwater landscaper. All right, that's cool. Man, there's a lot of amazing things out there that we do with our hands as contractors. And all of us have pretty much a core set of challenges when it comes to, we got hourly workers and I got a labor budget. And those two things are often the bane of my daily existence. Like, I got guys being paid by the hour, and sometimes they act like they're paid by the hour. And how do I drive a culture in my organization where they come to work and care about what they're doing? I want them to, it turns out you get a free brain with every employee. I don't know if you knew that. They come, it's a free, it's like a gift with purchase. And these guys come in, and yet sometimes they don't bother with it because we don't, it's just an hourly job, right? They're being paid by the hour. They do their thing, then they go home. What if they brought their brain to work every day? Okay, sometimes that may be more effective than others with some of our folks, but I'm telling you, there's an opportunity to do more with these folks if we can get them to care. Hourly pay is not the best model for doing that. You got to do something else too. And that was the thesis we had when we started building performance pay model for our own construction company.
Man, it's you hit the nail on the head. Paying somebody from the owner's perspective kind of makes me sit here and wonder. As I was sharing a little bit briefly on the intro before we started the show, is that we are working our way towards this system, and there's some obvious limiters to a new company or a startup. First 0 to 5 years, no zero business knowledge, but I'm sitting here going, why do I pay guys by the hour to get the job done at the same time where I'm trying to cut as many hours as possible from time and efficiency standpoint? You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Oh, I know. So when you bid a job site, you bid it by linear feet in some cases if you're putting pipe in?
yep,
Yep.
either linear foot, day production rate,
Yeah.
or yardage.
Okay, yard, yeah. So let's just take this thesis because there's probably others out there. You got some unit on which you went and bid this job. You say, all right, I'm gonna get X dollars per unit, square feet, yards, whatever. It doesn't matter. And so you got a budget now, and I got to put in 10 feet of this pipe, and I'm getting $1 a foot, and I get $10 in revenue. I think it's going to cost me $4 in labor to do that, which is we spend about 40% of U.S. construction is in labor. I got about $4 I got to pay my guys to put that in. It cost me about $4 in materials. And I got $1 in G&A, and then I got about $1 in profit. Honestly, that's roughly the financial model for most construction companies in America.
Yep.
So how do I take now? But the biggest variable that I have, and you have everybody out there, I guarantee you, is their labor. If you don't have your material costs somewhat under control, you're probably not long for this business anyway. So for the most part, we get our materials marginally within a range for most of our trades. What bounces around and what everybody struggles with is that control over labor. And how do I get my labor costs to be beyond budget? If I could guarantee every contractor out there right now, you'd always hit your labor budget, boy, it'd be cheers. We'd all be like, man, I'm happy camper.
Everybody be a
But
contractor then.
4 out of the 5 people working in our industry are paid by the hour. Their incentive is linked to time. The way they make more money is to put more time in. The thing that is the antagonist toward our success is the amount of time it takes, and that's how we reward them with actually how they get paid. And we can't unplug that. We are stuck with hourly pay structurally. In fact, if you're thinking, well, I use subcontractors, that's probably not going to last much longer either. State of California, that's pretty much impossible now. That's happening in more and more locations. The answer is not move to subcontractors. The answer is to get an incentive in place where your hourly team doesn't act like they're paid by the hour.
No, 100%. And I'm actually, so we have two groups of individuals. We talked about two different units there. I've got yardage guys that are on the dirt side of things. And literally this topic of conversation that we're discussing right now just came up, and my dirt superintendent, who does a phenomenal job. Yes, he makes mistakes, but he's got a operator that has been with us, I want to say almost 3 years now, 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years. And great guy, helps production, helps save us mechanic in here and there. Well, he brought me something to light that I never even knew. I've got pipe guys. I'm a pipe guy naturally, right? I'm thinking like a pipe guy. I'm paying like a pipe crew. And he comes to me and he goes, hey, boss, did you know that so-and-so never gets any overtime? And I said, well, no, now that you say that, I'll look into it. And sure enough, I went back 3 or 4 months, zero overtime. Went back a year ago, zero overtime. And I'm like, oh my gosh, then I feel like I'm slighting him, of course. And so I start weighing this out. I asked the admin team, I'm like, hey, we need to look at this. And we went back to my wife and I said, hey, I think we really need to look at this. And we restructured about how we pay the dirt team compared to the pipe team, and sharing with them what you're going to share a little bit of P4P or pay for performance and getting that way. But it always looks a little bit different, and it's scary sounding for the employer to get it set up. and go through the growing pains, because I may be getting off on a little bit of a tangent here, but I'd like you to probably discuss, to start with those guys like myself, and I'll tell them myself, that didn't have the accounting in place, the trustworthy enough. And it's not like anybody stealing any money, never had anybody do any of that, but it wasn't lockjaw tight enough because we were handling it in-house, not saying that it was my wife mainly and Miss Shea, and we're just learning what we learn as business owners, but we're not accountants. And so here we are trying to pay a structure. I've always been so scared to dangle that carrot in front of them. And then all of a sudden it comes time to pay and I don't have it. That's as a younger business. And so we've spent the last year really spending the time and dissecting that account, but maybe speak to them today.
So the problem you're addressing right there and the fears you have, I'm so familiar with that. And we had to find a way to pull this off that solved that fear, right? Because if I'm always afraid that, well, what if I end up overpaying or something? You never get there. You never end up going down this road. Now, I'll start at the fundamental levels. People understand there's really two things that are going to drive your success as a contractor. And the first is you have to master your numbers. You talked about it from the standpoint, I just need to know my accounting. Not just accounting. One, you need to know your estimating. You have to get your estimating down. If you're making wild guesses, you're just flirting disaster on every job. So the better you master your estimating, the better off you're going to be. Number two, you really have to understand your job costing. And you just need to get a master class in job costing. If you go to the biggest contractors, the most successful guys out there, they are maniacal about their numbers. They are not guessing. They know their numbers. They're deep into job costing. That is one of the defining elements of success, because we operate on tight margins as contractors. All of us do. Nobody understands. And we take a lot of risk associated with that, right? Things that we don't even always control that can throw a job off. And also we're upside down on a project. So we've got to do everything we can to be on top of those numbers and control. The other thing you have to do, so let's take financial control on one side. The other side is culture. You have to build a culture of an organization. Now, every company has a culture. Your company culture is just your company's personality. Your company culture needs to be strong if you're going to scale, or the inefficiency that comes from a poor company culture will eat all of that success you had financially. You would estimate a job really well, and you've got a team, out there that just doesn't care, and so they don't pay attention to detail, and you get rework. It didn't matter that you estimated it great. It didn't matter that you bid it well, that you're on top of all your spend, that you got your material costs under control. If that team just didn't care enough to pay attention to detail, and they put that trench, 2 feet left of where it's supposed to be, well, I don't know, whatever kind of crazy crap happens in your space, what it is. Right? Yep. It happens all the time. What did we do? We did something wrong. That's 6-inch pipe. Why the hell did you guys put 4-inch pipe in? Okay, now we're undoing this. We're always one rework away from break even and 2 away from losing money.
That's right.
So you got to get a culture where everybody wants to do things the right way, where they care about the project, they care about their teammates, they're looking out for each other, holding each other accountable to safety, holding each other accountable to doing good quality work, being on time, using our PPE, doing all the right things so that we can be successful. That's culture, right? That's how you become an employer of choice. You get the best people to want to work for you. You keep your best employees. You're not churning people out. That's how you deliver a great product to your customer. A lot of people say, well, we're a customer forward, customer comes first organization. Honestly, you should be employee first. You put your people first. Your people are going to deliver your product, and that product is going to what takes care of your customer. Customer takes care of your profit. I didn't invent that. Smarter people than they did. So dive deep into your people, care about them, build a great company culture, know your numbers. Parts 1 and 2, building a good contracting space, good contracting business. So our belief is that a pay for performance model starts at this foundation. I've got some sense of my numbers. I'm dialed in there. And now what I want to do is I want to build a culture of performance. So what pay for performance does, it says, I'm going to incentivize you when we overperform as a company. So one of the great things is you don't have to worry about, I'm nervous about putting the carrot out there and not having the money, because the only carrot that goes out there is the savings that we create. So so Sy goes out there and he bids this job for the city. And he says, I've got this $10 job. I'm going to spend $4 in labor to get this job done. And if I get that job done in $3 instead of 4, I've done it right, customer's happy, we're safe, I've got $1 left over, I am happy to share that money with the people who worked on that job. That's the easiest money I will ever spend.
100%.
Right? My problem is I don't want to go to $4.10. I want to be at $3.90. Right? So I want to find a way to get that crew in the field to want to do that job right the first time, want to be efficient, want to bring that job in under budget. Because if they'll do that, I've got money left over. I can always afford that check because I'd planned on spending more anyway. So that's why we find that it's not a big leap to get folks to be able to afford a performance pay plan, because the performance pay part of it comes from savings. Right? That's the key. You want to build a sustainable bonus program, you got to build it where it's coming out of savings.
No, it 100% is. And I think the biggest thing in my space, as I was learning, again, I'll tell myself, is that the guess, you hit the nail on the head again with estimation and production, and how we analyze those things is accounting. So they have to meet all three together. And so you have to have an estimator that's analyzing his stuff from the back of the house into the front of the house, get him some good, solid, consistent numbers. And then production, we have to hold them accountable enough to what's happening in the field per those numbers. Now, if he screwed up, that's fine. Let's find out where he screwed up. You know what I mean? But setting those production rates and giving that crew in the field, hey, guys, look, we're an underground contractor. Stuff is going to happen. Whatever's going to happen. But we have got to get in 50 feet a day, no matter what. I don't care if you're slapping 700 feet in a day. If there's one day that comes, now I will also tell them this, like, hey, if you get out on that job and you're beating your production rate, that bad day that does happen is not as bad as it was if we weren't meeting production. And they were, over subseding it. And that's where it all washes out. But man, it took me some time to figure out, okay, my estimation's here. That's driving this rate at this footage per day. Let's give them this footage. Let's give them these rock numbers. Let's give them this amount of pipe, and give them that information. And as a small, young business owner, mid-market now, but as I was growing, I was so scared to death to let my team in on all the information. And I'm like, it was like just screwing myself from the get-go, because I'm going to be the answer guy no matter what if I don't let them in and share a little bit of this information of why I'm moving the way I'm moving. Anyways, but those production rates are so key. They got to have a base goal for any of this to work with. So I just wanted to add on to your point here. And the other thing was know your cost. I'm going to drive that home even more before we get past here, because Key Wit has a sign when they were, I know the backstory of it, but they have a sign that they put on some of their projects. Literally, it says, know your cost. It's an orange construction sign. I'm getting one made for my daggum office. Because you have to, not just me, not just the admin and the estimator and the PM, but the superintendent and the foreman and the guys in the field should have an understanding from day one. We've got to hit 100 foot a day, or this job is hosed from the get-go. And as long as they're at least adhering to our production rates, or giving us justifiable reasons of, hey, I can't adhere to this because of this site condition or this pipe or whatever, where we can push it back on that admin team and go, hey guys, really need you to find out what's going on here. This is halting this. Or, hey, did you guys not catch this? Was this not on the drawing? We're really screwing the pooch, and this one's going to cost us, But production rates, man.
The step after that,
okay,
is to get the team to care about it. Because it's one thing for them to know, and I'm a big fan. Some people, open book management, I'll give you, that's a debatable thing. I actually like it, but some don't, maybe different reasons. But I'll tell you what needs to be open book is your labor budget, right? So let's The labor budget's their money, right? I want them to feel ownership of it. So take that labor budget, and we actually with our app, we actually put it on their phones. They can see it.
Yep,
I
same here.
want them to see the labor budget. I want them to see every day what they've used, so they know what's left. So they kind of take. I want them to feel like, okay, this is my money. They don't really care about your money, Sy.
No,
Sorry.
they don't.
No. They
Took
care
me
about their
years
own
to
money.
figure that out, but
So, but they do care about their own money, and they're actually somewhat accountable to their peers. So what you want to do is create this environment where they feel like that labor budget's their money, because then they're going to treat it different. All right. So now once I've shown them the labor budget, I say, look, you guys have 4 hours to do this. You got $4 to do this, whatever it is. You got 5,000 hours to do this. How are we doing? And what I'm doing is I actually, there's this fun conversation you can have where you go to the job site, you get the team around, you say, are you guys making any money on this job? You think about that concept, right? Because right now they get paid by the hour. So what do you mean making money on the job? No, are you making money on this job? Or are you guys just only making your normal hour? Are you only making your hourly wage? Are you guys making any money? Like, I'm paying you $30 an hour, but who cares about that? Don't you want to make 35? Don't you want those bonuses? So are you guys making any money on this job? And talk to them. Like, are you tracking towards the goals that you set? You guys set that goal. You want to beat this budget by 10% this job. Are you on track for that? Are you ahead? You behind? So what we found is when you can engage the team, show them the labor budgets, talk to them about it. And then what we believe is you have to have a transparency to it where they can see it, and a simplicity to they understand what they personally get for performing better. So we use our app to show them this is the dollar amount that's going to be in your pocket when this job is over if you hit this goal. Based on how you're performing, this is how much money is coming to you. When they can see the dollar amount, it becomes very real to them, and you begin to get this buy-in to the behavior shift that we're looking for. The goal of an incentive plan is not to pay bonuses. The goal is to actually get behavior change. I want behavior change. I want the teamwork. I want the communication. I want the attention to detail. Those are the things that make me money as a contractor, not time. So I want to incentivize that, and then I'm happy to share that savings. So that's where Protiv was really born. It was born out of a need in our own construction company to get our guys to finish the job right the first time and be ahead of schedule. If they could do that, frankly, I'm happy to share this. In fact, I'll give you most of this money that's left over. I'm just already a happy guy at that point.
My problem is being an underground guy, and I can't even. That's what I used that excuse for years. Right? Was I'm an underground guy, but it is a little bit more challenging to be consistent on things you can't visibly see. Okay, check mark, cool. But at the same time, it's up to me as the leader to go, this is unacceptable. If they could literally come in every single job under budget and under time, there's always going to be leftovers that I would love to sparse across. But
you guys have the extra advantage. You're saving money on equipment time too.
Yes.
I got a $40 guy and $40 an hour guy driving a $300 an hour piece of equipment. Those hours are worth a lot.
Yeah.
And I want to peel all those hours back I can. And this is real money.
Exactly. And so my struggle, and I know a lot of our audience members are the same way, is that they're in that, maybe they're past that scale point of that one crew into two crews, and they're sitting here thinking in their head, all right, I'm adding this third crew, or I have one crew that just absolutely kills it, and then I've got another crew that I'm literally just paying the bills to have. And I was there not too long ago with the crew that needed to dissolve, and one of my longer tenured employees too, like that knows the difference, and it still kept happening. And I had to, once you buy into this system as a leader, you can't detour off of it for the people below you. Like, if you truly want to share your money, you got to make sure as a leader there's going to be money for them to have. So that's kind of where I was getting at with that, because I know there's guys sitting out there that want what you're talking about, but they're struggling to find the scalability to, and that comes with production rates and setting good estimation. I can get that, but I was there the same way as like, well, it's like they'll settle, I think is the word. They'll settle for a crew just to get the work to say, or just to do the work to say that they have. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to be absolutely proficient with everything they touch and turn it into a money making opportunity, I have as well personally settled to have 3 guys out there kind of laying pipe, but I know I'm going to have to go back and it's not the way to be thinking. And I maybe speak to those individuals because I know there's a couple
Yeah.
guys out there struggling like I was.
We've seen organizations deploy performance pay and start to build this culture. You might have, maybe you got 20 people out there in the field. 2 of those people are probably going to quit in the first 60 days because they don't, what they quit from? They quit from the peer pressure. Because what happens is Bob looks over at you and goes, "What are you doing today? We're trying to build this. We're trying to get this done so we can make this bonus. You know, we've got a bonus opportunity here on this job. We've been doing good so far. And all of a sudden you're screwing around today. And like, come on, man, let's go. Like, why were you late this morning? Why is the equipment not on the truck? Why? What are you doing? Right? Because once I feel like I've got a chance to make more money, I start to spend it, right? Baby needs shoes. Come on, let's go. And so now you get peer pressure down. The other thing that can happen with performance pay is if your equipment is part of the problem why they're not being efficient, now they're like, okay, well, whatever. I kind of deal with it because not my money. Once it's their money, all of a sudden now they're in Sy's ear. They're like,
Yeah.
I told you this thing, you can't dig a hole with this excavator to save your life, and so I need you to get this fixed. If they see that hydraulic leak, they're like, I got to fix this because this equipment goes down. We're never going to get this job done. I'm going to miss my bonus. Right. So I want them to take some more ownership of what's happening around them. I want them to be upset because you order the wrong pipe. The 4-inch pipe shows up. It's supposed to be 6. And they're like, boss, get your act together, man.
That's
You're
right.
costing us money.
Accountability structure.
Accountability up and down the organization. Now, the difference is they can only go to their base wage, right? The way we approach it is there's a base wage. They get paid their base. That's their floor. You can go below 0. That's the risk for the owner, right? That's the challenge. That's the price of fame. So what we're trying to do is get them to take some ownership of it. Say, okay, we want to be successful on this job. I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to hold my peers accountable. Let's go.
No, and you keep saying it. It's buy-in. And
yeah, always.
I will tell you, I thought, and as an owner, you can set up the wrong culture in, yes, the way that you're thinking of, the obvious way of you're, a complete dick to your guys. Nobody wants to work for you. What in that regard? But I'm telling you, I swung the other way and I went, I told you exactly, Michael, why I built this business with my wife was because I wanted to be better to my people. And I was taking them on fishing trips and I was taking them to be like, I would do anything for them. But at the same time, they weren't tangibly incentivized to get there. So yes, it's cool. Boss is doing this. But at the same time, it's like they earned it. They worked their ass off all year. There's no doubt about it. But did we really make money or did we just throw that on a credit card or what did we do? You know what I mean? And so
it's a combination. So you're trying to wrap these 2 things are not mutually exclusive. I want to build an environment where my team can earn more money by helping me be successful.
Yeah.
Right. I want to give them some power.
Yeah.
At the same time, I want to build a great place that you want to be just because you like the people you work with. We're social together, right? So that's why we're gonna do a team lunch. We're gonna go on a fishing trip, and those kind of things are built on top of this performance culture, right? So now we've really created depth to the culture of our organization, and that's a really winning position where people are going to want to come work there. You're telling me I've got control over my bonuses and my incentives, and I can earn more. Because I'll come in and tell you, I'm the best, excavator driver on earth, and I want you to pay me more. Well, I don't know, but we're going to find out because our best guys make more because they're really good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because we have this performance culture here, and we reward our team automatically. You don't even have to ask for it. You guys deliver this job, we all make more money. Crazy part is that sometimes job doesn't come together, right? You go out and do this job, you didn't know there was, 300 yards of solid granites you're going to be going through that nobody knew was there for some reason. Okay, we're not going to make a bonus on this job. And that's, you know what, sometimes that happens. We're all on the same page, right? And if you order the wrong materials, they may come in and say, well, don't we get our bonus? It's not our fault. Actually, no, you don't get your bonus because we're all on the same page. It's the same thing. We're all, if I don't make money, you're not making money. We're all in this together.
Yep.
We all have to do our job. Estimating's got to be strong. We've got to get our permits in. We got to make sure the weather's got to cooperate, right? We got to not run into a giant boulder. You know, don't crash my truck into a tree. All the 100 things that have to happen for us to make money. All of that has to come together, and then we all make more money.
That's right.
We're sharing. We're in it together, and I like building a company like that.
Man, I really have strived to put culture first, but it needs to be an incentivized structure to put us all on the same goals, the same milestones. We're hitting them together, not owner's got an idea, labor pool's got another idea, and we're just playing this teeter-totter to keep each other happy. And I've been there, and it's not fun, and I'm just telling you guys, if this is something that's encouraging to hear, we're fixing to hear just a little bit more past the points of, hey, we've got to get this accounting. You may be sitting there going, man, this sounds awesome, but my accounting's trash. Well, I was the same way, guys. Take the time, go sit with a different CPA, find a fractional CFO, put the time in so you can get here. This isn't some fairy tale pipe dream. Yes, it is going to take months of hard work if you didn't have the right accounting and structures in place. You're going to have to unscrew that and then start over, and then eventually you'll get here, but one day at a time, right? But I got to jump in here and talk about my guys at Blue Collar Performance Marketing real quick. They have been unbelievable to work with here as of late in the last 90 days. SciCon's YouTube side, and they've also been integrating the podcast videos team. They have been doing us such a great job. And if you guys are looking for someone to help you in the marketing space, you're looking to start building a website, need a discovery call, just don't know where to go, bcperformancemarketing.com/BCB podcast, or click the link in the description and you can schedule up a discovery call, and they're giving you a free comp. They'll take a look at your website and your marketing program and get you on the right track, just like we're talking about incentivizing your guys. Make sure you're marketing to be able to sell enough work for them. So hit them up for that. But to continue, say I'm in the seat, Michael. Now I'm fixing to be there. I'm fixing to have my accountant. I'm fixing to have production rates, and the guys are starting to jive along and things, and everything's going in the right direction. Of course, I'm estimating correctly, and I'm maybe losing a job or not winning on a job, but, we're starting to really consistently produce some profit here. Tell us about that next step through Protiv. Tell us a little bit about Protiv and what it can do and how it does it.
So Protiv, the software that we built, this is something we built this internally for our own company, and it just worked really well. So, now we have a software company, but originally it was just designed to link the budget that we had back to the actual time and manage the distribution of the savings to the people who worked on the project. Simple idea. What we've done with it since then is we've built it in a way where we integrate into the operating platforms that most of the folks listening here probably use. So the Builder Trends and the Procores and the all these different platforms that are out there, Miters and QuickBooks and all that. We integrate into those systems so we can pull your labor budget, and we're going to take your time tracking from wherever you're tracking time, QuickBooks Time, Procore, Busy, ClockShark, all those types of systems. We pull in your time data, and we show the budgets and the actual to your crew in the field on their app, and they can set goals and track how they're doing. If there's money left over, the software will allocate what the savings were out to the people who worked on the job, prorated out, and then based on wage rates, et cetera, however you want to distribute incentives. That's what we do at a basic level. It's what Protiv is. And we found, we were stunned that nothing like this existed in the market. Like, we just want a bonus program for hourly guys that's linked to the budget. Seems like that should be there, but it wasn't. So we ended up building it. We found the app was really important. It's really critical for them to see it on their
Yeah.
phone. That is a big part of what changes behavior. And the real first step for a lot of folks, though, is just that decision that you want that culture.
There.
The software itself is pretty straightforward to use. The big step is always the culture step. How do I have conversations with my team about budgets? Most of the folks listening probably never talk about dollars with their workers. Now you got to start doing that. You got to go out there and get talk to Bob about the fact we've got $4,000 to do this job, Bob. How much is it going to cost you guys?
Right.
No, different.
No, it's so funny. On one of our goal lists right now, is working towards an incentive-based structure. So we are 100% going to look into it ourselves, and excited to hear more about it. But it's kind of funny, isn't it? How every software company in the dirt game, I know there's other companies out there that have already been more software integrated, but a dirt contractor and a pipe contractor, you wouldn't necessarily, maybe we got a first time listener here, they wouldn't really think there's much software involved. Boy, would you be wrong. And, the software line item every year drives me crazy. I'm like, we're a dirt company, guys. Why are we spending $60, $70, $80,000 a year in compounded software? This doesn't even make sense to me. But you said the word that in the seamless process that you integrate with the time trackers, and you guys already know because you've done it for yourself. You guys know that time tracking and documentation in the same spot can be very hard or clunky for one or the other, because we've done the same thing. We're going through trying to figure out mitigating the software line item of why do we have 5 pieces of software to do 2 things? Like, so we've been really navigating that down, but the number one thing, as you said, is having that app and that transparency and clarity for your guys out there in the field to be able to see it. And you hit the first 2 on the nail on the head. Procore, we did that for 2 years. I am not a Procore advocate at all. We'll skip right over, and I went over to Builder's Trend for about 1/6 of the cost. Come on back. And we actually saw utilization from it from the guys out in the field, because it's not this format that, anyways, I'm also a tier 1 subcontractor. They're also going, oh, you're a heavy civil guy trying to, well, I'm just trying to be proactive with documentation, with the baby steps of a company. As most companies look at it, they're just like, oh, well, you just have to do that. Well, you don't know what you don't know. Hell, I didn't know I needed to document everything I did until I got into a lawsuit and figured out that, oh, well, I don't have any of my ducks in a row. Let's put this into place. And it's just 100% experience. But no,
you did bring something up right there. You talk about the lawsuit side. The legal side to performance pay is actually very specific.
Good.
We do this program nationally, Canada, and in California, which is the toughest state. And we spent quite a bit of time and money and legal dollars to make sure it's buttoned up, so it is auditable correctly to the way that what's called a non-discretionary bonus has to be paid under Fair Labor Standards Act and California regulations. So if you're out there running a bonus program, a performance pay program today, I would happy to describe to you, and I can get into it with you guys, with someone if they want to call us and talk to me about how it has to be done legally, because there are specific rules. It's easy to run afoul of those rules. It's very hard to do, almost impossible to do with Excel for perspective. If you're just running one in Excel, you're probably not doing it right. I'm just sharing legally, it's probably not correct. We can help folks with that. The way we manage it is legally compliant. I'm happy to share with people how to do it legally compliant. So the specific calculations have to take place. But it's awesome when you can get it right. You can really drive that behavior change. We encourage people to really lean into the bonuses as a thing to celebrate. Guys, we did great on this job. Here's the checks. Here's the money. We're gonna celebrate this. We're coming out. Here's exciting days. Every time we finish these jobs up, we're paying bonuses monthly, whatever. Reward everybody. Talk about it. Who made the most? Let's go do more next month. Build that in deep into that company culture, into those moments of celebration.
And I know there's guys sitting there like myself that go, I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to get there. But guys, you are going to have to go. 20% of whoever's working for you right now will not be there through halfway through this change. It is, if you've been doing it off of one structure for so long, and that's why I'm 9 years in the game, and I'm literally 10, 11 years, I'm really from 10 to 15 ready to see this structure, you know what I mean? And really let these guys fly and make some money. Nothing would see me more happy as an owner. Why I designed this is to help the people that helped me build it. And how do you help them? Well, money or time off or whatever they care about. And
So we like that. Layer on other things. We think that you need to start with dollars. Like that needs to be fundamental to your incentive comp structure is
oh
paying
yeah,
people more for doing well. But you can layer other things on. You can build in things like time off and other types of non-monetary rewards. We think that's great.
no, I've always been big on money's a tool to buy time. Me, I was not a money motivated guy. I just told you I was running 30 people for $18 an hour and all the documentation and everything else. I'm loyal to a fault when it comes to that. And I've had a lot of those guys over the years, but I've also had guys leave me because I'm not designed to do 70 hours a week. We didn't design this company to do 70 hours a freaking week, guys. I'm sorry. That's just not here. I didn't design it for 55. I didn't design it for 60. I designed it for 45, 50 hours a week. We get done what we're supposed to get done in a profitable manner, and then you go spend time with your family. And I know there's guys that want to chase the 70, 80 hours a week, but think about just maybe if you're listening to me for just a minute, think about trading that 70, 80 hour work week for 45 or 50, making just amount the same money and having more time. Owners buy into the concept.
See it done all the time across
Yep.
all kinds of trades. Performance pay is always a better model. Doesn't mean it's easy always to put in place, but it is always a better model than just straight hourly pay. Period. It's not. It's really there's no structure in which it's not. I can incentivize quality. I can incentivize safety. I can incentivize the overall production. Time performance, the KPIs that you have to comp, get you a better outcome. It's a human nature thing. So we love to help people get there if folks are interested in going down that road.
What do you think the time frame is for a contractor, like we keep hitting around about, to switch from the standard hourly structure to where, on the backside, just an average of what you've seen?
So it depends on the size company and the length of cycle time of your jobs too, right? If you have jobs that last
Mm.
6 months to a year, sometimes the absorption of this takes a little longer. It's more complexities to it. I've seen companies launch this and be up and running the next week, where they're full on deployed. I've seen other companies takes a couple of months. Some of it is driven by how quickly you adopt it culturally. How
Mm.
are you ready for the communication level that takes? We're pretty adept at helping customers to navigate that path. That's kind of what our onboarding teams do every day. So it's but from an implementation standpoint, we can often get our software up in 20 minutes. It's more, it's getting ready for that cultural adoption. The communication around it sometimes takes, a little bit of time.
What are two things that folks can be working on outside of maybe they're like myself and they're super early stages and their culture's all over the place? What's two things that you can see commonly that folks can start right now?
One is be really authentic in your cultural. When you develop your culture, make sure it's authentic to who you are. If you are,
Mm.
how to put this? Okay, if the most important thing to you, Sy, is that we finish our jobs on time. That culturally that's going to be our rock. When we tell our customer it's going to be done on Friday, it's done on Friday. And if we're not sleeping, if we're here all night in the rain, it doesn't matter. We're completely on time. If your culture, now let's take side number two. And side number two says the most important thing to me is that you have the right balance with your family. And if your kid's got a baseball game on Thursday at 5:30, I'm going to make sure you're out of here by 5 so it's your kid's game. That's actually the most important thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
You you need to be authentic to that version of you because you can only fake it for so long.
Right.
Authenticity in your culture is critical. I'm not saying one of those cultures is better than the other.
No, yeah.
It's just you need to know who you are and what matters to you. And when you talk to your team and when you put up your ad for why come work here and your mission statement, it needs to be who you actually are because it will come out eventually. And if those things are cross purposes, if the most important thing to you is really finishing on time, but you tell everybody it's get your kids game, it won't ever work that way. And now you will have a broken communication chain with your people, lack of trust. Just be genuine. This is who we are. This is what it takes to work here. And this is the kind of thing we're going to honor and respect and reward in terms of, the people we bring in and the way we're going to treat them. That's it. And then run with that, man. Go build on that. And when it means, a lot of people talk about communication is central to culture. I want to emphasize that that's bi-directional communication. It's not that you just are good at telling people what to do and what's going on and giving them information. It's you're listening back from them. And you actually care about what they say. It doesn't mean they're always right, but you make an effort to care about what they say and it matters.
Man, it's funny you say that because as you can see me, I was reaching for that ear because it hit me, I'd say probably 8 months ago. Man, we were just over communicating, just every little thing to everyone, email, written, and I'm like, are we just not listening, guys? Like, are we just do we just not care to listen to each other? Because if Sally Sue doesn't get her answer about Bobby's pipe, she can't do anything to get her job paid, to get her job done, to get us paid, so she can pay Billy Bob here. Like, we're just not even caring. And I literally, in a Monday morning meeting, I was just like, this has got to quit. We got to answer each other. We got to, like, what is going on? And it was one of those meetings where, a couple of people came, no, boss, this ain't gonna work for me, deuces, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, where we're going isn't where everybody wants to go, but there's a large majority of us here that really want to do it. And I will tell you guys that is sitting there before we ask Michael one last question, the guys that are sitting there going, well, this guy and this guy's never going to buy in. Good. Get rid of them. Get rid of them now. Right freaking now, because if they can't see to the end of where you're going, they'll never make it to there, number one. Number two, when they get there, they're going to be the first ones to say, oh, well, this isn't working, I told you so, and jump. I'm telling you guys, it is a little bit of a long transition, and I'm in the middle of it with you guys. I'm literally got guys, I was talking with Michael, man, I've got these guys leaving. Yes, trust the process. There's a reason this is all happening, because where you're going, you're going to take those people that have been working behind the scenes for you, doing every little thing you've asked, and you haven't even seen that they are yet. And I'm literally starting to see that myself through my own experience. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not see this guy before? Like, the last 6 months paperwork is boom, 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 boom. Jobs coming in on time every time. Like, everybody likes him. Like, what am I doing, Sy? But I would encourage you leaders as well, man. Just take a minute, look inside. Michael hit it. Have the purpose designed of what your company is. We are a family first company. Always have been since day freaking one. I've had a lot of these guys are younger guys with me. They've had younger babies, and my office manager, she stayed at home. We paid her. Like, I've always, anything around family, your kid's sick, bye. We'll just jump in and we'll take care of it, because that's an extension of us. We're here feeding them. We're here protecting and providing for them. Like, that's our number one thing, and we've got to understand that. And it always has. Now, there's people that also take advantage once they find out, and I understand you guys sitting there, you don't understand what this guy and that guy. Listen, you don't understand what, from family, blood, non-blood, anybody that's done this, we do understand. Anybody that's done 10, 20 years of dealing with people and building teams has had everything done to them that could possibly understand. So we do understand in that regard.
Just be genuine to who you are. Be authentic to who you are as a person, your company. So don't try and fake it. This is who we are going to be, and trust in that, and go build a team around you that buys into that vision. Be great.
Dude, last question, Mr. Michael. I ask everybody that's on the show, what's the takeaway for the blue collar worker, anybody from the guy just walking into the trade day one to the owner himself, is being stuck in the mud, and that can be absolutely mentally, physically, emotionally, but just being stuck in the mud, and tomorrow's going to be tough.
Well, you just want one thing: get up early. Um, I've always found that if I just get up a little earlier than I was planning on and use some of that time to get my head straight in the morning, for me, I go to the gym early in the morning. It's my thing, and it's just nobody else, just me, I think. And I tend to find we need a little bit of time to let our brain process everything we got to do. That's not before I go to the office, before I'm, talking to my wife, well, what's going on, whatever. I need that time for me. If that means I need to get up at 5:30, get up at 5:30. I need to get up at 5, I get up at 5. Wherever that half hour is going to come from earlier, an hour, whatever you're going to need, just start sooner. The day's yours. Go start sooner. And get more done. Just be more and go further and go harder than everybody else. Get more done. The morning's yours. And I'm a big fan of get up and get at it. Let everybody else sleep in.
That's right. Own the day. Own the day, man. And man, I really can't tell you how intrigued. It's just funny our paths crossed right now because I'm in the midst of it right now, fixing to get there and be looking for a phone call from us, no doubt. But if there's somebody that's in here, would love to reach out to you guys. Tell us a little bit about how we get a hold of you guys, website, etc.
Yeah, I mean, Protiv, Protiv, Protiv.com is our company. Michael at Protiv.com is my direct email. Feel free, man. Email me. Look me up on LinkedIn, dude. Just reach out. Whether you want to use our software, you just want to figure this out, whether you got a question about, job costing, I don't care, whatever. I'm happy to share with you, what I've seen and help all you guys out there be successful.
Well, guys, there you go. A little blue collar business podcast exclusive. Reach out to Mr. Michael, ask him some questions about bonus structure if they did it for themselves and they're seeing success and it's repetitive, repeatable enough that we can start selling it and it's legal and it integrates with every software. Do you want to make more money or not, guys? Come on. I mean, it's that simple. So, Mr. Michael, thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to hopefully maybe having you back in a couple of years, and maybe we can talk about the benefits of what Protiv has done for cyclone excavation and utilities. You just never know, boss.
Never know.
All right, my guy. Well, till next time, you guys be safe, be kind, and be humble. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like, share it with the fellers, check out our website to send us any questions and comments about your experience in the blue collar business. Who do you want to hear from? Send them our way, and we'll do our best to answer any questions you may have. Till next time, guys.